Hello, and welcome to this episode of the Finding Peace podcast. This week we have Carlos, who was a participant in a past Finding Peace retreat. Carlos is a wonderful human, and I'm so grateful that he is a part of my life. Today we're going to help him walk through the Finding Peace worksheet to help him understand why he gets angry over things that he recognizes are not that big a deal when he looks at the eternal scheme of things. So please join me in welcoming Carlos to the Finding Peace podcast.
We have all had painful events in our lives that can lead to depression, anxiety, addiction, or broken relationships. But here's a secret. It is not about what happened to us that causes suffering. It's the stories we believe about ourselves. Join us as we shine light on how to rewrite our stories, avoid the shadows of shame, and travel along the pathway to joy, love, and connection. It's the Finding Peace podcast with your host, Amazon best-selling author, Troy L. Love.
I've been doing good. So
Yeah?
I don't have, there is always things that I can work on, but I've been doing really good lately. I'm doing really good. Sort of like maintenance mode. Haven't had any difficult incident in months now.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What do you think's the reason for that?
The work, the retreat set me in a direction that and a path that I've been walking
I'm so proud.
and keep adding to my recovery. I keep adding to the work that I'm doing. I don't think I'm doing anything like out of the ordinary or anything that other people aren't doing. I think it's just working for me. I've been finding a balance that works for me. I don't know.
That makes me so happy. Oh my gosh, man. That makes me so freaking happy.
Thank you. It's a huge part thanks to you, Troy.
Oh, well, that's
Super grateful for that.
You're welcome. Thank you for letting me be a part of it.
Thanks for all the support.
You're welcome. Well, is there something in your life that you would like to have a little bit more peace, joy, comfort, anything like that about?
Yes. And that would be a challenge, struggle that I have. So my main challenge, my worst enemy right now, it's myself. I can react to certain situations in a way that I don't want to. So I have to put a lot of intention. I have to do a lot of preparation for little things just so that I don't react and I rather respond. One area that it's a challenge for me is about that is just my struggle in my daily life with my family with trying not to react aggressively. I can get angry and respond to different situations in an aggressive way, never physically, but rather emotionally painful. I can make really painful comments or give painful answers, especially to those that are close to me, to my wife, to my kids.
Can you think of a time recently where that happened?
So recently, and fortunately, I think I managed to somehow conceal it and no one noticed. So it wasn't really an aggression coming out of me. However, I felt it inside and I just barely contained it. But recently we were working in the backyard. The whole family was there we were installing a new arbor in the fence in the backyard. And for some reason, we were all there, just hanging out and doing the prep in the soil, the ground, leveling and moving things. And I was leading the charge. I was just putting everything together, assembling the arbor. And towards the end of it, like when it was pretty much ready, my wife took 3 steps back and she has this level eye. So everything has to be like in perfect horizontal 0 degree deviation angle. and she found it. Like, there is a problem with the arbor. It's little slightly skewed to the left. And it was really difficult because we're talking about like the ground, it's gravel. It's really hard to level something on gravel.
Yeah.
So, and I was tired, and I noticed it started building up in me, like the anger. And I was just not okay with, I felt she was demanding too much from me. I was tired. I really wanted to be done with it. So I did what I could to make it as level as possible, but I did it in an angry way. Nobody noticed again, but I was really upset inside of me.
That's a beautiful example. Okay, so we're going to use that. So if I were watching that on screen, if I were watching that on a video camera, what would I see?
You would see my wife asking me to fix the arbor, which wasn't properly installed. You will see me sort of like moving very fast, doing everything very fast, almost with a lot of energy. And that's what the camera would capture. What was happening inside of me was the anger being expressed in a physical way, like really intense in my physical movements.
Got it. So she's telling you that it's just a little bit off. You've been working hard all day. And she's like, nah, it's not quite right.
That is correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So when that happened, I got to move. When that happened, what wound got hit for you?
Neglect and abuse.
Tell me about that.
I think the neglect wound comes from my childhood, where I think I did not receive enough attention in terms of my development or being capable of doing house projects. Like, I didn't have a role model. My dad was not around, and I didn't develop those skills. I don't know if that qualifies as neglect, but in a way,
So how were you neglected?
I think I was not included in projects in like fixing things in the house. My grandpa, he would be the one doing those things, and he would do the best he could. But I feel like whenever I wanted to participate in any house, fixing something, I was not allowed to. I also had an uncle that would help a lot with those things. And if anything, I would say rejection from him, because plainly he would just be really upset with me being around and just not helping a lot. So I feel like I didn't get to learn and develop those skills.
Okay. So close your eyes for a second. I want you to just answer like the first thing that comes out of your mind, like the first thing that comes out of your mouth. So don't try to think about it, right? So your wife says to you, it's just a centimeter off. What do you hear her saying?
Are you saying it is not, you're creating a mess? It's not working. You don't know what you're doing. Everything you do is always wrong. It's not, you don't know how to do things.
That's definitely a rejection wound right there. Who else would tell you that stuff?
No, I don't know.
Growing up, who would tell you you don't know what you're doing? You just make a mess out of everything. You can't do anything right. Who else would tell you that?
I don't know if someone told me that, but I always felt it. Maybe my brother, he's older than me. Maybe him.
Okay. And your parents, maybe they didn't use those words exactly, but was that the message that you got from them?
I think I got the message from my mom. not explicitly, but definitely from a perspective of you're not qualified to do that, so better don't do it.
Mm.
There was a lack of trust in my abilities. I always felt that.
Mm. And what about at school?
Not so much. I think I struggle with other rejection wounds from school. Like I was not very athletic, was more on the academic side of things, but somehow that kept me afloat. So I was always capable of feeling I was okay because of my academic results.
Mm. But did the kids who were athletic, did they convey a message to you that we don't want you on the team because you're not really good, you're not that
The time.
Oh.
All the time growing up. I also had vision problems, so it was impossible for me to play sports where the ball moves too fast.
Mm.
Plus, I was not too fast myself. I was always the last one to be picked up, and it was reluctantly selected to be part of a team.
So just do a body scan for me from the top of your head all the way down to your toes, and just see if you can notice where that rejection wound is.
I feel a big pressure right now between my stomach and my heart, that area going up between my stomach and my heart.
What does it feel like?
It feels like pressure, like something is putting pressure there.
Heavy pressure.
Heavy, yeah.
And when you're feeling that, the immediate core belief that gets activated is?
There's something wrong with me. I'm not good enough. I will never be good enough. There's nothing I can do. There's an ebb and flow in me.
Wow. You're not good enough. There's something wrong with you, and you're never going to be good enough.
Yes.
And when that gets hit like that, what's the core emotion that you feel?
Right now, I'm feeling sadness, but normally I translate that quickly into anger.
Yeah. So anger comes from a sense that something's being taken from you without your consent. So when your wife is saying, hey, it's like 2 centimeters off, what does it feel like it's being taken from you without your permission?
I feel like my agency, not the agency, but the result of my work, the pride that I could take on the effort that I was putting. It's like I put so much effort into this, and I'm doing this with that goal in mind of like having a great result, and I'm actually seeing the result there, and she's not appreciating that, or she just can't see it. That's what I feel. So it's taking from me that victory sensation, like, yes, I did it. I achieved it. I did something.
Yeah. So what's it like to say that out loud?
Doesn't feel fair. Doesn't seem fair with her.
Yeah. Can you say more about that?
I think she's just trying to give some feedback and potentially work together to get the best possible result.
Good. Okay. So I'm going to have you see if you can be a little bit objective with this. So she says it's 2 centimeters off, but somehow from the point that it comes out of her mouth to the point that it gets in your ears, it gets translated into you suck. You don't know what the heck you're doing. You're such a problem. You just make such a big mess. Somehow in that little distance, it gets translated into something else. How does that happen?
I don't know.
What does it remind you of?
Yeah, it reminds me of all those. I'm not even conscious, but it's a familiar feeling. It's a feeling that I have experienced before.
Yeah.
It's a feeling of like being told you're just not capable. Like you better go read books, do the intellectual part. You're good with that, and don't step out of it. Because everything else you do with your hands, with your body, it's just doesn't work.
Right. Except that's not what she said.
That is not what she was telling me, I just made it about myself.
Mm-hmm.
It was not about me. It was about the project that we were doing together. Just, I don't see it in the moment. Something.
That's why we're having this conversation, right? Because in that moment, she's not intending it to be so, but in that moment, she's bumping up against that rejection wound. She's not doing it on purpose, but that's what's happening. And then immediately, like, your body remembers what it feels like to be rejected by your grandparents, by your grandfather, by your mom, by the kids in school. Your body remembers what that feels like, and it immediately goes into defensive mode. I got to protect myself. I got to find a way to make sure that I'm not going to get hurt here. Yep. So immediately we go into anger. You want
that makes sense.
Push it away. You want to shut it down. You want it to stop.
Right. And I think the anger or the angry response comes from a also cultural and wired way of processing emotions. So really, sadness is at the core of it. I feel like I have a problem and it makes me sad. It's a problem that I have. But I was told as a kid to don't, like, sadness is not something to, as a boy, you don't express, or you're not even allowed to feel it. Right. It's okay if you're angry, though. You can be angry.
Angry, loud, sadness, you're a wimp. Mm-hmm. So you said there is sadness. Sadness comes from a sense that you've lost something. So in this moment when this is going on, what do you feel like you've lost?
So I think I've always had this sense of loss of my childhood, like that I didn't develop physically. I could have done more. I could have practiced more sports, and also my eye problems. Like I was born with conditions. I can't see movement very well. And then there is the physical development. I didn't practice enough sports when I was a kid, or I think I just lost that opportunity.
Oh, my heart hurts with you because, first of all, I can relate to all of that so much. And I want to go hang out with your teenage self and let him know he's totally okay the way he is. He's awesome.
Yeah, my teenage would just try to conceal it and, show an appearance of skill, and would show up to sports as if I was the best player. But it was all empty. It was just a facade.
Mm-hmm. Well, you would do that to cope with how you were feeling. You would do it in hopes that...
I was doing it because I didn't want to accept it. I thought I would be rejected.
Yeah.
If I was discovered. So whenever in a new setting with a new group of friends, I would be putting my 200%. You are playing any game, any sports, my 200, my 300%, for a short 1 minute or two, to at a minimum, try to perform at a decent level.
Mm. Yeah. What's it like to bring all this up right now?
It's a little bit bittersweet. It's healing in a way.
Mm.
Because I can see it now from a different perspective.
Yeah.
I can be more kind to myself now than I used to be.
Good. So we do have some shadows that have been hanging around. Your wife is saying, hey, it's just a little centimeter off. Which shadows showed up?
The judge is showing up. The royal and the important one.
What are they saying?
So the judge is telling me, you don't know, everything you do is always wrong. Like you don't have the necessary skills. There's so many other people out there that will do this correctly, and you just can't. The royal would be also whispering to me like, what is she looking for? She wants perfection. Like, look at, we did a great job. This is good. Like, there's no problem with this. And the impotent one is going to be telling me, it's worthless. Don't try anymore. Just accept it. You're not going to ever be good at this. Go back to your books.
Well, I'm curious, did you actually fix it?
To the best of my abilities.
Did it get along?
I think so.
The way she wanted?
It got better. It got a lot better. It was not, and I mean, it improved. So I'm glad that we were able to do that.
Well, good. So your shadows were lying.
They were lying.
Huh.
They were.
They always do.
It's hard for me to see it, but I think I can see it.
All right. So you're outside. Who else was out there with you besides your wife?
My kids were with me, my son, my eldest son with his girlfriend.
Okay, so there's people. So she says, hey, it's a little bit off. And immediately those shadows show up. Where in the yard were they?
They were right next to the arbor, especially the judge, right next to the arbor, just pointing out, look, what are you trying to do? You were never going to be good with this.
So they're there, judges by the arbor. Where's the royal?
Royal's right next to me, whispering in my ear.
The impotent one?
The impotent one is in front of me, to a side, and just telling me, it's worthless. Don't try. Don't even try. You're never gonna. It's a problem that you're never gonna be able to overcome.
Got it. So with all of them there, what happens to your relationship or the way you interact with the real people that are in the yard?
I disconnect completely from them.
Tell me more.
I just can't. I don't see them anymore. They become I experience them as enemies, as threats.
Yeah.
Yep. It's like if someone else confirms and my wife's comments on the arbor, like, oh yeah, it's totally skewed. I feel I experience that as a threat.
Yeah. Of course you do.
Yeah. To my core. Like, they are not saying the arbor is wrong. It's like, you are wrong.
That's right.
That's what I'm hearing.
That's what you're hearing, right? That 6 feet of difference, or however, wherever she was standing next to you, it gets filtered in by the judge, by the way. He's the one that's translating it into, you suck, you can't do anything right. The impotent one's like, you're never going to get it right. They translate it for you.
Yep.
Within a nanosecond. And then I love how you said it, you see them as threats.
Mm-hmm.
Which before that, and even right now, I'm guessing you don't. Like, I'm guessing you
Absolutely not. Talking about the people that I most love in this world.
Yeah. Yeah. But in that moment, that fight or flight response, everything's a threat.
Everything's a threat. Yeah. I can't really, I have to make a huge effort to get out of it.
Yeah.
If I am able to catch it in time, like, and these things happen sometimes without me even realizing I'm experiencing that.
Yeah. So what did you say to them when you saw them as a threat?
So fortunately, at that time, I was able not to say anything.
Hey.
However, I started correcting the inclination of the arbor with a lot of energy, which seemed, I'm hoping it was perceived as me trying to fix it, but I know it was anger all over. I was very angry, and I expressed that anger as I was moving the gravel away from the arbor to make it more lovely.
How angry were you on a scale of 0 to 10?
I think I was at an 8.
What made you not take it out on them?
Past wounds have done that too much. And I have these filters trying not to express my anger. So I try not to, because I know how hurtful it can be.
Yeah. That's progress, dude.
It is. Of course, I want to get to a point where I can still experience the anger, but I'm able to process it right there. I'm able to see what is happening to me, and I'm able to I can start to use tools, resources, like step away. It's okay to say, hey, I've been working really hard on this arbor for an hour now. I just need a break. I'm just going to go grab some water, breathe, remember all these things, and then show up again with a different mindset.
So
that's what I would like to do.
That's beautiful. I love that. And the challenge with that is usually by the time we get into fight or flight response, we're not thinking very clearly, because physiologically, when we get into fight or flight response, all the blood that goes from our prefrontal cortex, which is where we make those kind of decisions like, hey, this is overwhelming. I need to take a break. All of that blood goes down to your heart, your lungs, your biceps, your quads, so that you can fight or run away. And so in that moment, we're not thinking very clearly. So we have to be able to do some things to practice connecting with our truth when we're not angry. But one of the ways to do that is thinking about times when I was angry and then connecting that with my core truth, which I'll show you how to do that in a second. But so we need to be able to connect with your truth, which is what?
The truth. My truth is that I try my best. I definitely try my best. I can work with my wife as a team, and we can use our skills together to do projects, and that's really much all we can give it, like our best.
That's good. I'm going to make it even more simple. So the core belief was
that there was something wrong with me,
and the truth is,
and that there's nothing wrong.
If there's nothing wrong with you, then what? How could you say that in a positive way, not a negative way?
I am okay.
I'm okay.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm human. I try. I have my strengths and I have my weaknesses, and all those are okay. They make me human.
Beautiful. She said what?
She said the arbor is not level.
Was that true?
That was true.
Oh, it's true.
Yep.
Why are you laughing?
At the time, I denied it.
I get that. So the truth was the arbor was not level.
The arbor was not leveled.
What does that have to do with you?
It could be improved. Sorry?
What does that have to do with you?
Nothing.
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 So another truth is this wasn't about me.
This wasn't about me. That was not about me.
It wasn't.
No, I made it about me.
Well, that's what the shadows do, right? So when they show up, they're all about you. You are not enough. You are flawed. You can never get any better. She is just so anal about this stuff, and she needs to get over herself because you have been trying so hard all day. It's like all about you. You're the hero. She's the idiot, according to the shadows, which isn't true.
Yeah. It is not true. Not true at all.
Yeah.
None of that.
Right. So I'm okay. And this isn't about me. When you say that, where do you feel that in your body?
So I am okay. This is not about me. I feel it up in my chest.
What does it feel like?
It feels like a strength coming from within. Like it's a very pleasant sensation. It's like I feel relief.
Nice. It had a color. What color would it be?
It would be green.
Had a texture?
Be a soft texture.
And temperature?
Warm.
Okay. On a scale of 0 to 10, how intense does it feel right now?
Feels like a 9.
Okay. So I want you to breathe into that. Just breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth several times and connect with that. So you're really connected with that. So hold on to that because you're going to need it. Because this is the practice. Okay. So the way that we do this is facts, wounds, emotions. Okay. So I'll give you a little bit of instruction. So like you could do this anytime. Like when you're driving down the road and you're waiting for the light to turn green, or when you're lying in bed and you're trying to fall asleep, or when you're waiting in line for the supermarket, you can do this practice anytime. So how it works is you think of a time when your wound got hit. You allow yourself to feel the pain of that for just a minute. You notice where that hurts. And then you notice like the different sensations that come up with that. And then you go right into the truth. I'm enough. I matter. This isn't about me. And you allow yourself to then feel that truth and see what it does to that experience.
Okay.
That's?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. So what we're trying to do here is we're trying to activate a painful moment and then pair it with a truth. So that the more that you're able to do that and practice that, then when it actually happens, you're going to be able to do that. Because right now you're not, because it goes right into fight or flight. So we want to practice. Okay. So that's what we're going to do.
It makes sense.
Okay. So just kind of connect with that green moment. And we're going to go back and we're going to relive this experience. And your wife is saying, hey, is a couple of centimeters off. And you identify that hit your rejection wound. And give yourself permission for just a moment to say, that hurts. That really hurts. Breathe into that. And then I want you to connect with, but what is really true about me?
Yeah, I'm okay. This is not about me.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then breathe into that. And then from there, how do you see yourself responding?
I see myself trying to get rid of any reminiscence of anger or any fight or flight response if I need to.
Okay.
But then just working together with my wife. She's something that I love.
Yeah, beautiful. You had said maybe you need to go take a break, go get a drink of water. That might be what you were inspired to do in that moment.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Give me another time where you lost your temper.
So like, gonna be a lot about leveling. We were hanging some pictures on the wall. The leveling showed up there as well.
So she's saying this picture is a couple of centimeters off. And
right. It happens every time. Every single time.
Every time. And when that happens, it hits your rejection wound. And then the core belief is
something wrong with me. I can't do anything right.
That's right. So give yourself permission to feel that and consider that's what's happening. And then I want you to ask yourself, is that really true?
But it's not true. I am okay. I try my best. This is not about me. It's about the picture. It's just it may be level, but she's not saying the level. So we can confirm. We can fix it if we need to.
Yeah.
It's not about me.
How's that feel?
It feels very promising. It's like, can't wait until we we have another opportunity and I can show up in a different way.
I love that. There's this exercise that says, I'm looking forward to the next time that my rejection wound gets hit so that I can see what I do differently. That's what you just said.
Yeah. And I want to follow those steps. I'm going to allow myself to experience it.
Mm.
And then I am going to respond with the truth.
Mm-hmm.
My truth, which is, I am okay. This is not about me.
Oh, I love that.
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling really good. Feeling optimistic. And I feel like I have a new tool.
Oh, it's so beautiful, brother.
Thank you, Troy.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for letting me be here with you.
You're awesome. Thanks so much.
Oh, thank you. I'm just trying to be like you. Well,
that makes two of us because I'm trying to be like you too.
Oh, well, then we're good. We're going to be good together then. Well, thank you for hanging out with me tonight.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity and for walking me through these steps. I'm in a better place than I was when I joined.
You've been listening to the Finding Peace podcast. If you love the show or want to ask a question, let us know by going to findingpeaceconsulting.com. There, you can also learn about the Finding Peace 5-Day Challenge. Remember to subscribe to this podcast so you won't miss the next episode. And if you are listening on iTunes, please give us a 5-star rating. It really does help other people find this podcast more easily. Thank you for spending part of your journey with us. And a special thanks to Johnny Porter for producing the show, and A.G. Flux for the new background music. Copyright Finding Peace Consulting.